This week, I board a flight where the seat selection is wherever there's no bags of gravel, enjoy an in-flight meal of Pringles I bought myself, and take off from a terminal that makes a bus stop look high-end. As I fly on the most bizarre version of Ryanair you've never heard of.
Well, good morning from Anchorage in Alaska, and today I've got a crazy day of flying today because I am doing a full day's adventure on Ryanair. Not the Ryanair that you know, but the Ryanair, the original Ryanair. We've got a full day of flying with him today. Let's go and do some bush flying all across Alaska. Hi, good morning, how are you? I'm doing good, thank you. I'm hoping I'm in the right place. Checking in.
Where are you going?
To Aniak?
Yep, just need ID.
There we go, thank you.
You're all set?
Amazing, thank you. All right, so all checked in, just hanging around now waiting for my flight today with Ryanair, the original Ryanair. These guys have been around much longer than that little Irish company, and they fly little flights all the way over Alaska. We've got an amazing adventure with them today. We're flying on all of their passenger services, pretty much all types of their passenger services. At least we're doing the flight from Anchorage over first though to a place called Aniak, which is in the middle of Alaska somewhere.
Now, before you start frantically checking Google flights for a £9 fare to Alaska, well, let me explain a little bit more. This is the original Ryanair, founded in the 1970s, not by Michael O'Leary, but by Wilfred Ryan Sr., a bush pilot who built an airline to serve remote Alaskan villages. There's no hidden fees, no priority boarding, just male mooses and the occasional human. In Ireland, Ryanair takes you to Europe's hidden gems. In Alaska, Ryanair brings you to places that even Alaskans haven't heard of.
We're ready.
My first flight today then is Ryanair's shuttle service out to their main hub in Aniak, Alaska, on board this rather lovely PC-12.
Sitting anywhere?
Anywhere you like.
Awesome, thank you.
It's not quite the Ryanair you're used to, unless your local Ryanair of course comes with sheepskin seat covers and a view of nothing for 300 miles.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay today. I'm hoping for an hour and 20 today. Could be an hour and 25 though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't make any commitments.
Yeah. Every time I try to guess right, some delays me or something. I'm always 5 minutes off. So.
Ryanair run this route a few times a week on their PC-12s, a sleek single-engine turboprop usually used for flying CEOs to corporate retreats, but today though it's being used to haul me and a few parcels across the Alaskan wilderness. My first flight today then takes me 318 miles west of Anchorage to the tiny town of Aniak. Population, well, not many, and this is the only way to get there without needing a snowmobile and a questionable sense of direction.
We are a bit late. We're like an hour and a half late, which I'm keeping everything crossed won't cause an issue because I do have a connecting flight out of Aniak later on today, also on Ryanair, so we're going to see if they hold that flight for us. Who knows, we will figure that one out when we get over there. That's on a different type of aircraft because once we get to Aniak, we've got a load of fun coming up over there as well. Fingers crossed we make it.
Flying out of Anchorage, the city quickly disappears behind us, and so does all trace of civilization. For the next hour and a bit, it's just snow, mountains, and the occasional frozen river snaking through the tundra. It's stunning and slightly terrifying. Not long after takeoff, we passed over Lake Clark National Park, one of the most remote, most spectacular places in Alaska. Towering peaks, endless glaciers, and not a Ryanair scratch card in sight, just pure untouched wilderness.
But then we have started our descent down into Aniak, the first stop today. My next flight leaves in 15 minutes. I'm really hoping that they're either going to hold it or something. Not entirely sure what they're going to do. We may end up sitting around in Aniak, getting very bored for a few hours until my next flight's out, but we'll see when we get down what they pull out of the bag for us.
As the mountains gave way to flat tundra and winding rivers, we began our descent into Aniak, Ryanair's bustling hub. And by bustling, I mean, well, there's a vending machine.
Thank you for flying Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights arrived on time.
Except this one. This one's 2 hours late. But nevertheless, we'd arrived into Aniak, or Anchorage West as the other Ryanair might call it.
Welcome to Aniak, Alaska, home of Ryanair. The only baggage that you've got to pay for here is your fish. If you bring salmon and stuff on it, I think you get a certain amount of bags included. Still have the delays of Ryanair. But anyway, we're here at the Ryanair hub of Aniak, Alaska, about to jump on a Cessna Caravan now. It's coming back from a flight and it's going to take us around some little villages here in the west of Alaska.
So with a bit of time to kill before the next flight shows up, let me show you the one thing that's actually helping me stay organised on this trip.
This is the Extra Wallet Pro. It's made from handcrafted Italian leather and it's super cool. It holds up to 14 cards and bills as well. And get this, it's sleek, it's RFID blocking because important cards like these need protecting. When you're carrying those important pieces of plastic around with you, well, it's important to make sure that you always know where your wallet's going to be. That's where this thing comes in. This is the Finder card. This one links to the Apple Find My network. They do ones for Android as well. And it just links straight into the app, so you can find your wallet faster than you can say final call. It's the world's slimmest Find My tracker for your wallet. And what's more, it's rechargeable too. So once it runs out of battery, you can just plug it into USB using the charger that comes with it. And bingo, you're all set for another 6 months of use. Honestly, this is a game changer for me. And here's the coolest thing as well, Extra don't just do smart wallets these days either. They do loads of stuff to make your travel life easier. This is the Extra Travel Vacuum Bag. And let me show you what it does. See, when it's time to pack my case, I always end up finding that I just can't fit everything in, especially in a smaller case like this for a carry-on. But that's no problem because what this thing does is lets you pack as much stuff as you like, all of your favourite designer clothing into one little bag. Once you're packed in there for a week, you just zip it up. And then this thing comes into play. After a few seconds, it's done. Your stuff's neatly vacuum packed away, ready for your trip, with a whole load of space saved too. This thing's rechargeable, by the way, with USB-C, and it just pops into your case. Bingo, you're ready to go. Right now, Extra are giving you 44% off in the 4th of July sale. Scan the QR code on the screen now, use my discount code Noel, N-O-E-L, and you'll get 10% extra off at checkout too. Right then, back to Alaska. Back inside the terminal, and I spotted a Cessna Caravan arrive, which was my cue. It was time to get on board.
Ready, gentlemen? Head up to Yukon, going to Anvik. You're going all stops?
Yeah,
all
way back in.
Let's do it.
All right.
The next flight then is something pretty special. Ryanair runs what's known as the Yukon Mail Run, delivering post parcels and Amazon packages and the occasional passenger to tiny villages dotted along the Yukon River. There's no security, no boarding groups, and definitely no snack service, unless the pilot bought some jerky. Our cargo today, a few boxes, some bags of gravel, and me. No need for priority boarding here, just climb over the freight and hope your seat isn't under a sack of concrete.
We are headed to Anvik, Grayling, Shageluk, Holy Cross, and then back to Aniak.
Amazing, thank you.
This flight isn't your typical milk run. It's what's known as the Yukon Mail Run, a bush loop starting and ending in Aniak, stopping at a series of remote villages that dot the Yukon River. Anvik, Grayling, Shageluk, Holy Cross, all places with no road access, no supermarkets, and definitely no Starbucks. Planes like this are their lifeline, delivering mail, freight, and the occasional nosy British YouTuber. Our first stop today then, the village of Anvik, about 35 minutes northwest of Aniak. It's a tiny community of about 55 people on the banks of the Yukon River. There's no road access, so this flight's quite literally a lifeline.
Today we're taking a load of cargo up to drop off at various points along the route. picking up other bits and pieces as well along the way. At the moment there's just me and one other passenger on board. Not sure if we'll get anybody else further along. The cargo is the important thing today. We've got to get it up there. We're taking a flight first to Anvik, and from there continuing on to other villages all along the Yukon River. We're going to be hitting them all today.
Flying over the Yukon River is a strange mix of peaceful and unsettling. It stretches for hundreds of miles, and with barely a sign of life, you start to realise just how remote this part of Alaska really is. After about half an hour in the air, we begin our descent into Anvik, one of Alaska's most isolated communities. There's no jet bridges, no ground crew, just a gravel runway, a few boxes to drop off, and hopefully no moose on the runway. We taxied into the stand here at Anvik, where there was a truck waiting to collect today's delivery. And yes, before you ask, there are trucks out here, even though there's no roads connecting the villages to the outside world. They're brought in by barges during the summer when the Yukon River isn't frozen solid, and then they're used year-round to get around the village.
Right, our first stop today, Anvik, population 54, or actually 55 today because there's a guy getting off here. So now it's 55, the population's gone up by 1 today. And temporarily actually 56 because I'm here, and it'll be 55 again once we take off. First of today's Ryanair multi-hop stops. Hey, at least you get priority boarding with this Ryanair.
Here the mail isn't just letters and postcards, it's dog food, groceries and occasionally car parts. Whatever you need, it's coming in by plane, but pretty soon the plane was heading out to the next stop. Our next stop then is Grayling, home to around 170 people, one school, one general store and a runway. Like most villages out here, there's no roads in or out. If you want groceries, mail or to leave the town, well, you've got to get on a plane or go dog sledding, or just not leave in the first place. Still, the landing fees are probably a bit cheaper than Stansted. The terminal here could best be described as, well, a little bit basic, but hey, who needs a lounge when you're getting driven right to the plane door like you're flying Lufthansa first class?
Alright then, welcome to Grayling, the next stop here. I don't know about you, but Grayling sounded like the most unscenic place of all the places on the list today, but honestly, look at this is beautiful. Grayling, Alaska. There's the, I'd say the terminal building. There isn't really a terminal building. What happens at these places is you just get dropped off at the ramp. They drive onto the ramp and wait for the plane. It's like a bus service or a taxi service almost up here. So yeah, this is it. We're dropping off, I think we're dropping off some of this gravel here. I think that's the plan here.
With the cargo safely offloaded, the Cessna sat quietly on the ramp, surrounded by forest and not a single baggage carousel in sight. There's something peaceful about these moments. No rush, no chaos, just a plane, a few boxes, and the smell of avgas and pine trees. Soon though it was time to climb back on board, and this time I had slightly more luck finding my seat. Priority boarding status achieved, although the cargo probably still had more legroom. So airborne then once again in the mighty Cessna Caravan, and it was time to head south to a place that I'd been looking forward to visiting.
On our way to the next stop, Shageluk. Shageluk, Mr. Shageluk. That's where we're off to now. About 10 minutes until we can get to Shageluk. Again, I'm the only passenger here. We dropped off the cargo up in Grayling.
Shageluk sits on the edge of the Inoko River and's got a population of about 130 people. It's quiet, it's remote, and it's almost definitely the only village in Alaska that's ever been called Shageluk on YouTube. Once again, well, there ain't a lot here really.
Alright then, welcome to Shageluk here in Alaska. just as remote as everywhere else, really. Birds flying around, it's just so remote out here. So quiet, it's crazy. I'm not sure what we're doing here. I think we don't know if we're picking somebody up or not. But this is the next stop. I'm going to be back on board in a few minutes and then heading back down to Aniak, the last stop of the day on this Yukon mail run with Ryanair. Honestly, don't know about you, I'm quite impressed with Ryanair so far. The prices might not be as low as the bigger Ryanair, but you know what? The service is a heck of a lot better. And I'll tell you what, you wouldn't find Ryanair landing out here. Maybe you would find Ryanair landing out here. Maybe they'd call it like Anchorage West or something like that. I don't know. It is a very Ryanair-esque airport, isn't it?
And with that, we were off again onto the final stop of the day, Holy Cross, which, let's be honest, sounds more like something you'd say when you're landing in these places. So heading south then now to the village of Holy Cross, which is home to just over 150 people. Holy Cross sits on the banks of the Yukon River, and like everywhere else on this route, there's no roads in or out, everything comes in by air. Today's delivery, a mix of UPS parcels, Amazon packages, and whatever else someone drunkenly ordered at 2 AM and completely forgotten about. Honestly, been there, done that. I didn't see any cardboard cutouts of Jeff Bezos, but honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised.
To Holy Cross, Alaska. We're dropping off some cargo here. There's a few people. It's quite a big town actually. We saw on the way in, and yeah, this is quite a nice little place. A little bit rural. The last stop today on the Yukon mail run.
And just like that, the day's delivery is complete. Amazon Prime Bush Edition. No drones here, just a Cessna and a trusty pickup truck. With the parcels handed off, we fired up the engine one last time for the short hop back to Aniak. Still no in-flight snacks, no tray tables, and no idea what day it is anymore, but I wouldn't have it any other way. The last leg back to Aniak was quiet, the cargo was gone, the cabin was pretty much empty, and after 5 landings, 4 villages and 1 questionable Shaggy impression, I was starting to feel like part of the crew. We touched back down to where it all started, one big loop around the Yukon, delivering everything from dog food to discount iPhone chargers to places that most people won't ever hear about. And you know what, I didn't even lose my luggage, probably because I didn't have any.
You had any other bags?
No, this is it.
Okay.
Right, welcome back to Aniak, Alaska. That was cool. On the Cessna Caravan, hopping through all them little bush villages. Something even cooler though coming up next. I've got one more flight today to take with Ryanair, the OG, the original Ryanair, and it's going to be something even cooler than anything I've done so far, because that flight is going to take me across to Bethel, and I'm told it's on a type of plane that I've not been on before, which will be even cooler. Let's see what it is when it turns up. We'll take a little wander down to the shop, which apparently isn't too far, although if it's that one over there, that is actually quite far.
Half a mile later, I'd made it to the village store.
$8.96.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers. See you.
Yeah, okay.
You too. Alright, that wasn't bad value for money really. I managed to pick up a pipe of Pringles. It was only $4. I've actually paid more for that when we were on vacation in Hawaii, so actually that's not bad at all really. $4 for a pipe of Pringles and a bottle of Coke as well. Let's go back to the airport.
With snacks secured, there was just one more flight left today, and it's a good one. I'd be flying on a plane I'd never flown on before. The Cessna 207, a stretched version of the 206, and one of the rarest commercial aircraft still operating in the world. It's basically the limousine of bush flying, if your limo had 7 seats, no insulation, and smells like moose jerky. Oh, and of course today, most of those seats were missing. We walked out to the plane, which honestly doesn't look much bigger than the 182 that I fly myself.
We got 3 emergency exits on this airplane. There's 2 up here, 1 in the back. They all work the same. Lift up on the silver handle and push out.
And much like the 182 that I fly myself, sometimes the engine just needs a little pep talk to get going. But eventually he got it going and we started our taxi out in the smallest commercial plane I've ever flown on. My last flight of the day then was a 52-minute hop across to Bethel, Alaska. Honestly, it's a strange feeling flying as a paying passenger in a plane that I could fly myself. There's something humbling about seeing these machines you know from a different seat though, and a reminder of just how much work these planes do out here every day. Honestly, riding Ryanair Alaska was a truly eye-opening experience. Sure, they don't fly you to Torremolinos for 30 quid. Sure, you can't buy scratch cards and you most definitely don't get served a slice of rubbery pizza for a tenner. But what you do get is something far more meaningful. You get an airline that delivers vital supplies to people who'd otherwise be cut off from the rest of the world. An airline that flies in temperatures far below freezing to gravel strips barely wider than a garden path. And somehow they still make it feel personal. I came looking for the original Ryanair and I think I found something way better. And hey, at least over here, nobody clapped when we landed. Speaking of landing, we soon started our approach down into Bethel, Alaska, one of the largest towns in western Alaska, but still only reachable by air. A fitting end to a day spent flying to places that most people never think about, on an airline that's quietly holding the whole region together.
Alrighty then, that was Ryanair, the OG, the original Ryanair. Let me know what you thought of them down in those comments. Whether you prefer them to the European low-cost version of Ryanair, the sort of knockoff Ryanair I like to call it. Anyway, I've got to go. My ride to Anchorage has just arrived right behind us, so I've got to go and shoot across and get checked in for Alaska Airlines to get back. But thank you so much for watching as always. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.